What's going on, guys? It's the Splash Culture, and today we're going to be talking about Kevin Durant possibly being traded to the Toronto Raptors. On the screen, I have attached the entire roster of the Toronto Raptors. I want to draw your guys' attention to all the key and potential star players that the Toronto Raptors have. OG Anunoby, Scotty Barnes, Chris Boucher, Otto Porter Jr., Pascal Siakam, Gary Trent Jr., Fred VanVleet, and Thaddeus Young. These are all players that are strong role players and have great potential to go out and be great players for other teams. However, the problem with Toronto is that they almost have too much talent to go around, and they have an incredibly deep bench. But one of the main problems that they've had is that Pascal Siakam and Fred VanVleet aren't don't have that potential to really take them to a NBA Finals and really be consistent. So if I was Toronto, I would put together a massive trade deal to send over some of their players to acquire Kevin Durant. So right here, I am on ESPN's trade simulator. So I want to show you what I think the Toronto Raptors should do. For Toronto to acquire Kevin Durant and their salary of $44 million, Toronto needs to send over Gary Trent Jr. to replace Kyrie Irving because Gary Trent is a phenomenal point guard, shooting guard right now and has been really playing to a peak standard. OG, who is greatly putting in work right now. He is on the brink of being a all-star, brink of just becoming a really strong player to the team. And Boucher, who's just another player another strong center power forward who can actually block shots and put in work for the Brooklyn Nets. If this doesn't work though, and if it's not a strong enough trade to acquire Kevin Durant, I would remove Boucher and throw in Um, maybe Scotty Barnes because we'll still have Kevin Durant, Siakam, and Van Vliet. However, if I was Toronto, I would ask for Ben Simmons. That makes the deal a lot more fair as Scotty Barnes is significantly better than Ben Simmons, OG is better than Ben Simmons, and Gary Trent Jr. is also better than Ben Simmons. However, since Toronto is giving up their shooting guard, Ben Simmons is going to have to replace that shooting guard role as a primary passer because that can move Fred VanVleet out of the point guard position and be the true shooting guard that he is. And also, Ben Simmons will be able to pass to Kevin Durant, Siakam, Fred VanVleet, Boucher. Otto Porter Jr. is a good replacement for Scotty Barnes, and so on. I think this is a good move. Or if they really even want to make it more fair, they can take out Ben Simmons and put on, where was he? Seth Curry. That would even make it more fair because now you have a solid point guard, a solid shooting guard, power forward, small forward, and a strong center. I think this is the move that Toronto needs to make to be able to put them over the edge to win a championship. Hey guys, so I just want to go over this article by the sportingnews.com, which goes over the possibility of Kevin Durant coming to the Toronto Raptors. On one hand, the Raptors have put together a competitive team with the potential to grow into something special in the near future. On the other hand, they have assets to make a win now move by pouncing on the next star who becomes available. See, this is very interesting because, like I said earlier, Toronto has the capability to achieve other all-stars. For example, this article goes into how they wanted to get Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell, and Shai on the OKC. These players are all all-stars, all just absolute killers on their teams and are carrying their team. But Toronto doesn't have that person who's a pure scorer and can just score consistency. Siakam's great, and so is Fred VanVleet, but they're not that super all-star caliber players. Durant is able to go to Toronto and is able to take them to that next height of skill, even possibly winning a championship. Kevin Durant left Brooklyn, so why would Durant stay? Kevin Durant has no surrounding pieces to help him win a championship, while Toronto has endless. They have so many possibilities to acquire an all-star. I want to compare this trade, as I did on the ESPN Trade Network here, to to the po- to Toronto getting Kawhi Leonard. They took a gamble, they traded away some key pieces, but they were able to squeeze out a championship. I believe if they make this trade happen, they could still formulate a big three, and by even if they have to get rid of Scotty Barnes, but they still can keep Siakam and Fred VanVleet. Even if they give away Siakam, they still have they could I bet they could still keep either OG or Scotty Barnes, who's able to fill that role. And Kevin Durant is just such a monster; he can take care of that void. So going back to the article, what would Kevin Durant look like on the Raptors? At age 34, Durant is one of the best players in the NBA. Through 17 games this season, he was averaging the second most points of his career, 30 points per game, and shooting 53% shooting from the field. The beauty in Kevin Durant's game is that he has the skills to fit perfectly on any system. He has plenty of experience sharing the court with other stars: Russell Westbrook in OKC, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green in Golden State, Kyrie Irving and James Harden in Brooklyn. He's a knockdown shooter, both from a standstill and on the move. Need a bucket? Only a few players have ever been able to get theirs as easily as Kevin Durant. He's a walking mismatch, capable of shaking big defenders loose off the dribble and rising up over smaller defenders. Name a type of Name a play type. Kevin Durant is possibly near the top of the league in scoring and efficiency to start this season. He's as well as a good rounded scorer as it gets. So it's going to be very difficult for Kevin Durant to get to Toronto because Brooklyn has to give him up. But if I'm going to put my money on it, I bet you that Toronto is going to offer them a massive package to acquire Kevin Durant, the same way they were able to acquire Kawhi Leonard from the Spurs. I want you to comment down below and let me know where you think Kevin Durant's going to end up.